All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Strong Principles. I am Larry Medina.
And I'm Wendy Shafransky.
And I'm Rob Dela Cruz. So on today, we're going to talk about it's basically strength training and why the movement quality.
Right. Why movement quality is the first step in your journey for weightlifting.
Yeah, and what's most important. And so the movement quality is really important is because when you're going through one, it's safer. That's the first thing you want to focus on. It's safe, but you want to make sure it's good ranges of motion. You're doing the movement correctly, and then you're going through it because you're basically practicing. And the more you practice it, the better you're going to get at it. And then as you get better at it, then you could start adding stuff and progressing it with weight. But before that, it's the movement quality. Are you moving well?
Right. When new people come into the gym, a lot of them are, experienced, but maybe they haven't done it correctly. So they have some movement patterns that need to be adjusted. For one, so they don't get injured. Yep. Two, that you can actually build more muscle if you do full range of motion. And so a lot of times it's a little bit defeating at first because we're saying, hey, whoa, back up on the weight, focus on movement quality first. You'll get there. So I've even put articles out about this is what to expect the first 3 months of your gym. You're not gonna have 6-pack abs. You're not gonna, be in a bikini show, but you're gonna move better, and that's gonna set the foundation for everything else.
Yeah, because I always say this thing. It's 3 month. Okay, first month you're just learning the movements, just focusing on that and getting the quality there. Second month you're starting to use the movement and getting used to it. The third month you start building the strength in it. So that it's about a 3 month range.
So at first, right, like if I'm hearing this correctly, I'm a new member, I come in. The main thing that I may see is that when I walk in the first 3 months, it may be discouraging in the sense that, hey, I used to be able to bench 135 pounds, now I'm benching 100 because my movement range is different, right? And I'm not saying that, we teach bench or whatever, but it's like that could be the mentality of somebody who walks in and has been doing something a certain way incorrectly.
Or a certain program.
Right.
And now you walk in, you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, and I would say the squat's probably the biggest one. People are used to doing kind of quarter squats and just getting through it in a boot camp or something, or maybe they've never squatted before. And they actually have to push themselves out of a chair, to get up from a seated position. So we really want to work that movement pattern to full range of motion, considering they don't have knee injuries or, things like that. But if they're healthy, and over time, they'll get stronger in those positions, and that's where the magic happens, and they're kind of off to the races.
Yeah, and we talked about, there's movement patterns that we focus on, and there's 6 of them. One of them is squatting, sitting down and standing up. The other one is hinging, which is kind of like a deadlift or bending. Then we have lunging and stepping back and forth or going upstairs. You have pressing and like vertical and horizontal. We got pulling, vertical, horizontal. And then you have carrying. And we focus on those. And as you get better at them, then you can start progressing it. But the movement quality is the most important. The better your movement quality is and good ranges of motion for an individual, the more effective the exercise becomes. Because we all squatting and doing the same thing, all the programs. But what makes it effective is how it's set up and the intent you're doing it. And a lot of times what we tend to do is first, we're going to do this away from a certain environment. So you're going to work on it. We're going to go through it slow, good ranges of motion. You're going to build strength. Then we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of load. And then we might actually add a little bit of fatigue somewhere with that. But the last thing you want to do is add a bunch of fatigue and movement and not be able to practice this.
Right. And then there's kind of 2 camps too when people come in. It's either they haven't done this before, so they weren't exposed to it, so it's a new pattern for them. And then sometimes it's mobility. And so at that time, we do a lot of mobility here, but we may prescribe something that they do on their own and, and add it into the gym warm up every day. Shoulders and hips tend to be things that, because people sit all day and it's a forward society. So a lot of hip mobility, a lot of, shoulder, a lot of people can't press directly overhead. It's a little bit in front of them. Over time, that could turn into an injury. So we need to work mobility and then movement quality, and don't load it, heavy.
Yeah, you want to take your time on that, and you don't want to force it. And you want to build up that pattern where they're capable of doing it. So it might not be as low as range as you want, but over time it can be. But doing it under fatigue only kind of reinforces a bad pattern. So that's why we're really careful with that.
Right. Yeah, let's give an example then. So say someone comes in and we did it was called Strength 101. It was a free little seminar we did end of last year.
Yep.
And we had people who'd never strength trained in their lives interested in it. And Rob took them through the 6 functional movement patterns and said, all right, let's just try these. And there were people that didn't even realize that they plopped down on a chair and got momentum or pushed themselves up. So Rob, okay, we get somebody in that, how do you start progressing them towards full range of motion squatting?
Yeah, you'd be really surprised when people, they think they're fine. It's like, no, I'll have the 6 fundamental movement patterns. Like, oh, I'm fine, all these. And then also like, you're missing all of them except for one. like, we're about ready to go to whole people's home. No, I'm just kidding. So basically, they sit down and they use the momentum of their hand or something to assist them to get up. So you start with something, an object that's higher, strengthen them up in that position, properly squat, and then you start lowering and building that range over time. And then eventually you possibly, it depends on the individual, take that away and then have them full range of motion. But it's like steps, little by little, and you strengthen those steps and then you progress it.
So you would go with like full range of motion, I don't know, is it like on a squat position, is it like ass to grass?
No.
It's your hip crease is below your knee.
Yeah, and some people can do it, but not everybody. It just depends on, because like anthropometrics is real. Like some people just can't get that low. You can get at a decent for an individual. But for instance, if someone, like we put them on a bench and had them sit down.
Without going on your toes.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a proper squat.
Yep.
Knees are out, hips are on, chest is up. Everything.
So Rob's saying if they were plopping down on a chair and helping themselves up, say the bench is, what's a bench, like 16 inches?
Yeah, I think they're 18s.
18 inches.
Yep.
So we may say how they do on a 20-inch box. Okay, you can do that. Let's strengthen that position. Now, after that's keyed in, let's go down to the bench. Then let's go a little lower, and so over time, and you can even, weight that, do a goblet squat, sandbag squat, something like that to make them stronger. But it's not just, get below parallel by any means, no matter what it looks like. It's like, let's you don't progress a little bit to progress.
Yeah, you want to take your time on it. And so let's say like someone has a knee issue and lunging is really tough on them or going down a stairs or a step down. So what you do is you work that position in such a small range of motion at first to strengthen them, and then you start increasing that range of motion over time until they have full range of motion with no pain.
Now, and I feel like this goes back to a previous episode that we did where we talk about the gym intimidation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like where it's okay.
Yeah.
If you don't have full range of motion, right?
Yeah.
What's good is that you're recognizing that you have an issue.
Right
now, right? And now we can look towards getting you better. And then in a year from now, you'll see new people coming in who are potentially were in your spot.
Right.
But you've been doing it for a year, and now you're not in that spot anymore.
Yeah. And I mean, the average age at our gym is over 50. And what we see a lot of, especially, is the lunging, not being able to. And that helps you get off from the floor, if you fall. And it has a, to do with balance for sure, but there's strength as well. And I think that's probably the most frustrating movement for people.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. So as I told you, I started like a workout program again, or whatever. And so I did a lunge, and it was fine. 1, 2, and then like the third one, I was like, oh, I lost my balance there for a minute.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I didn't.
Yeah.
you just don't realize,
right.
Like if you don't do it, you do lose your balance. And like I didn't like eat it, but like I had to catch myself for a second, and then like okay.
Yeah, and a lunge.
Really
a lot of people had like knee issues throughout life, and like they have a tendonitis or some kind of injury. So when they go to do a lunge, it kind of affects them and hurts them, and it affects their balance. And so they stop doing it. So then all of a sudden you can't do it and you lost your balance. So now we got to build that up over time, either holding on to something or taking really small steps. And there's other ways to work it. But we love full range of motion, but we have to work the proper steps to progress people to go through it.
Right. And that's a problem I see with a lot of like boot camp style things is someone doesn't necessarily squat correctly, but let's program squat jumps or switch lunges, but they can't, like, so that quality of life circle, you want to have all those movements keyed in, full range of motion before you add complexity to it.
Problem I see with the boot camp is that they're just trying to get you through a workout.
Correct.
Right.
Regardless of what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and a sign of like a good program is movement quality and working on it. And listen, a boot camp workout or whatever workout it is, it's like a HIIT workout. there's nothing wrong with them, but that's not where you want to spend a majority of the time with those movements, because what you end up doing is you're doing these movements under a certain stress and fatigue. So that ends up just kind of like making the movement not look really well, especially if you don't move well in the first place.
So I just got a light bulb from you guys. So, okay, I think I understand what you're programming, because I think you go with like strength Monday, Wednesday,
And Friday.
And then some kind of like a HIIT workout.
Yeah, like a
Tuesday
conditioning interval based on Tuesday.
and Thursday.
Yeah, and Thursday is like a longer like cardiovascular training.
And then Saturday's your advanced day.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I understand what you're doing here, because like, so basically Monday, Wednesday, Friday is your days of like recognizing proper form, getting some strength. So when you do your workout of conditioning, that includes maybe some kind of a lift.
We don't. No. Tuesdays and Thursdays is machines, like cardiovascular type machines, and it's interval based, and you're hitting a target rate of perceived effort. You're resting between sets. It's a lot more. It's not like,
it's a little different, but you're on the right track of what we're doing. So what we're doing throughout the week, and we're focusing on and putting people in an environment for them to get better and reinforce those movement patterns. And the better they get at that, the better they're going to be able to move when you do put them in some kind of stressful environment or something that's going to fatigue them.
And less likely to get hurt.
Correct.
yeah. And Saturday we
But
call
it takes
it
a while to be able to do that.
100%.
Yeah, we call it Saturday a test. So we train all week and practice movement, and then we put it all together at a little more high intensity type, program on Saturday. There's going to be some slop, people going fast, but if you've practiced really good movement, it doesn't really look that sloppy when you get that way,
That's exactly it. Yeah. Okay. So it literally just hit me as you guys are talking, because like we've been talking for a few episodes now. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, that makes sense. You guys have really put a lot of thought and effort into your programming.
We'll even say if we brief a workout on Saturday and it's, we've done back squats on Monday, and then we're hit a Saturday and we're like, all right, remember how you felt at the bottom of that squat on Monday? That's what I want to see when you do these wall balls on Saturday, So they can make that connection.
And what it is, Larry, is we want to set them up in an environment and that they spend the majority of the time that they can practice these movements, get stronger at them, and have better quality movement, and only spend a little bit of time of either testing them and using them in environments that are more stressful and fatiguing. Usually most programs are the opposite. You want to spend most of the time on your movement patterns in the optimal, ideal environment for those.
Makes sense.
Yeah. You want to wrap it up, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We just covered why and how we do it and the best way to do it. But you start small and then you start progressing through time with it. But full range of motion will always build more muscle and have better quality of movement for people.
So be patient.
Yep.
And keep you safe.
Yes,
Correct.
Absolutely.
All right.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
All right. Thanks.